Welcome back to Let's Chat with Jen and Angie. I'm Angie.
And I'm Jen.
And together we are Heart and Home Legacy Group with Edina Realty. We're back in the office. Because things have been so busy.
It's been so fun.
It's so fun. I love it. And this week we actually got a lot of great information.
Yeah, we had a company-wide meeting, and this month we heard from David Arvid.
Yes, and David is actually the director of research for the Minnesota Association of Realtors. So he loves statistics. It was actually really fun listening to him and watching him because he loves statistics. And what was really cool is that David actually gets reached out by the Federal Reserve to get statistics because real estate market statistics, like Minnesota's, helps be knowledgeable about all kinds of different parts of the market. So that was really cool.
Yeah, here's the deal. The sky's not falling.
The sky isn't falling. Don't believe everything you hear on the internet.
We are here. We're going to talk about optimism and what really is going on in Minnesota. So we want to share with you what David had said, and he does this for a living all day, every day. We actually, now I'm not as nerdy as Angie, but I really enjoyed this too, and we're gonna break it down and kind of tell you what we learned. So let's jump in.
Yeah, let's do it. So the first thing that was focused a lot on the state of Minnesota is lower and stable-ish mortgage rates. So a couple episodes back, I had done an episode about the mortgage industry. The mortgage rates right around Minnesota was 6.19 or 6.2, depending on how you want to raise it up, which was considerably less than the 6.35 that the national rate was.
Right. Yeah.
David had shown us that right now, Minnesota, our average 30-year fixed rate is at 6.25. So it hasn't come up a lot since September 17th range, but we are better than the national average, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Also, increased housing inventories. We're near a 5-year high. Buyers, you have more choices. It's not so cutthroat out there. I don't know, take some pressure off. So it's not so, oh my gosh, I got to get it in. I mean, you still got to make a choice. It still needs to, we go to open houses. You love the house. You need to put in an offer, but it is not cutthroat. It's not 9 offers are coming in. It's more calm. It's our buyers are having a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun this summer. So yeah.
And sellers are, and that's going to bring us into the next touching point, is sellers' negotiation and incentives have changed a lot in the last year. When we had said that buyers have a minute, our days on the market are going up. So in our area, the average days on the market is going to be 30 to 45 days. Some areas are up to 60 days. So buyers aren't feeling like they have to jump. They're getting a second. And then the other side of that is that when it comes to offer our asking price and you're coming up with that, sellers are also needing to throwing in a little bit of those buyer closing costs and concessions with the offers. That's not uncommon right now.
So what does that mean? That's where Angie shines. I love the negotiating process that we call us. We'll tell you all about it.
And seller concessions for buyer concessions, seller concessions. So when we say closing costs, buyers already, you're going to have a 3% of closing costs for part of their process.
Yeah.
And we are seeing a lot of sellers, whether we're representing buyers or we're representing the sellers, having offers coming in that has some of those buyers' closing costs being paid for by the sellers. Yeah. So, yes, when it comes to buyers, sellers, it's a little bit of a negotiation tool, and that we're seeing that a lot in the market. Yes.
Current home price growth. So your home is still gaining equity. Just you're not seeing back in the COVID days, and I'm kind of getting tired of still using COVID as our staple, but it's still there, and David used it because back then, I mean, some of the home prices were 11% increase. That's not happening, and we're probably not going to go through a pandemic again in our lifetime, hopefully. But there's still still gaining about 3%.
Yes, and which is average. I mean, that's normal. It's good. To gain 3% year over year, and we're starting to see that stabilize.
Yeah, and that helps with rates and wage growth. That makes it an easier balancing market that we want.
Absolutely. And builder incentives and discounts is another thing we talked about with David, that builders are offering discounts and sale incentives. Don't give up on that new construction because they do have some really great incentives right now. New construction is helping to balance out the market and bringing more options for our buyers.
Because they bought the land, they bought the product, they have to build, so they're just not building all at the same time.
Yep, you got it all figured out.
So can you guess what demographic is moving the market, that is buying and selling in Minnesota? Any guess? I know, I wish I could hear you, but it's millennials and baby boomers.
And those Gen Zers, but mostly those millennials and baby boomers.
They are shaping the demand of the housing market. And Angie and I can attest to that. I would say that has been our biggest movement in our clientele over the last 3-4 months.
Yeah, and it's so interesting to watch how the market shifts and how it does transition with the way people's lives are transitioning too. And when she's saying millennials and baby boomers, the millennials or Gen Zers, families are growing. They're starting to find that first house is getting too small.
Yep.
And because of what we just talked about, they have equity in their house, so they're looking to move up into something that's going to be a little bit bigger. Where then you have the opposite happening with our baby boomers. They've been in their properties for a really long time, and now they're ready to
downsize or move to the lake or move to up north or move to the city where they can be right by everything. Yes, move where they're going to be. It has been really fun to see some of this change. Yeah, for sure.
And getting to partake in everybody's joy in everybody's lives is so awesome. All right, and next, government regulatory environment. So that's going to come down to changes in zoning. Density policies are allowing more homes to be built. So Minnesota is very aware that we needed more affordable housing. And what does that mean? It means that the government has been helping to make it so that is able to happen. So we're seeing apartment complexes, we're seeing multifamily dwellings being sold, we're seeing condo buildings going up, and all of that is through government and regulatory environment is allowing those to happen in a smoother way. All of these statistics are amazing, and David also gave us reasons to be optimistic for Minnesota. And here are some reasons to be optimistic in real estate in Minnesota today.
Yeah. First, recession odds are declining.
Don't you sit there and stress about us having another recession. Don't let people be telling you, oh, we're going to have another recession. The options of that are declining. And why do you say? We're going to touch on that in a hot second. Mortgage rates are trending down. And just because the national average is about that 6.35, 6.5, we are trending about 6.25. So Minnesota, we got a nice interest rate there. That's awesome.
I talked to a lender this morning, and I think he was very optimistic.
Yes.
That things are heading in the right track.
Yeah, as long as they're not going up.
Yeah. So think of that. Interest rates are improving, and our inventory is improving. So that right there is some good news for buyers, right?
Absolutely. And new construction is now becoming a more balanced market. We touched on that just a second ago, talking about the different government regulatory, about how new construction has lots of different incentives and things.
Yep. Builder sentiment is improving.
Yep. And that luxury market is still going up. And we just touched on that with the luxury market. If you aren't familiar with that, are going to be your $1 million+ homes. And a lot of that is going to come into play with all of our baby boomers are continuing to keep that luxury market going, which is fantastic.
Price growth, more moderate alongside solid wage growth.
Yes. So instead of our housing prices going whoop, and our actual wages not keeping up, now they're starting to even themselves out a little bit, which is great. And homeowners are sitting on a mountain of equity. Very few are likely to go underwater. So we have equity in our homes. You have a home, you have equity. That amount of equity is really helping the market to stay strong.
I know that this one is close to us because the Northeast and the Midwest are outperforming the other regions.
So regional, we talk on that a lot. Don't listen to what they're saying with the California market, Texas market, New York market.
We're not the same.
We're not the same. And right now, Midwest and the Northeast are outperforming other regions, which is awesome. Government support for homeownership and pro-homeownership policies. So just like we had said a couple weeks ago on the mortgage rate talk, don't give up on your local banks. Don't give up on your credit unions. If you have a broker that you work with that's a loan originator or anything, talk to them about different Minnesota programs, different first-time homebuyer programs. Minnesota has a lot of different programs that are out there to help people get into a home, get into home ownership. So don't leave those out.
No, don't. It's a strong labor market here in Minnesota, and it may be softening other places. I don't know. I'm not an expert in that area, but here in Minnesota, it's not.
And we are doing much better with our lending standards in 06 than in 06 and 08. We are not seeing the same lending standards that we did back when we did have the major shift in the market. That's not to be worried about. We figured it out.
Yeah, which means very few foreclosures, very few short sales. Even if the price is softened, we learned from our mistakes. So there are very few homes that are underwater.
Because we've had the years of nice growth in our equity, which is wonderful.
Yep.
And the last but not least of the reasons for optimism here in Minnesota is that changes in zoning and those density policies. Our government is understanding that we need to start making changes with the times and the needs of the citizens of Minnesota because we need more affordable housing. And the government is helping ease up on some of those restrictions.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
Wow. So you have been in this business for, well, as old as I am. Oh wait, I'm older than that. What's your takeaway with this? Like, do you feel like this is a strong market? Do you feel like
Yes, well, I definitely think that it's a more balanced market. It would still be considered a seller's market, but sellers are needing to give it some time because it's not going to sell or get an offer right away. I mean, sometimes you would if there was somebody that happens to be looking for your specific style of house and then you came on the market. We definitely see that happening, but it's few and far between. So just give yourself a minute if you're a seller. If you are a buyer, having the option to not have to jump and feel so stressed about it, which is really awesome for our buyers too, because they have a second to think about it, get the numbers run, make their offer so that they feel like they're not stressed.
I have found I'm a very optimistic person for the most part. I'm a worrier, but so I've only been doing this 4 or 5 years. I don't know. I'm not good at math, but she is. So don't worry. That's why we're partners. But
because she's pretty.
I feel like I've seen agents who were here in the COVID days who would just sign the piece of paper and the person would move on and that was fine. But I feel like I really got to study. I really got to research. I really got to know my business. Do you feel like it's been a shift in what we do and prior to that 2 and 3% interest rate? It just seems like a change in the.
Well, there's definitely been a shift within for us real estate agents because we're not having the same number of sales that were happening during COVID and such. So I think the real estate agents that are good at what they do, they're staying up on their statistics. They are like us and they care about their clients and develop relationships with their clients. That's all going to be so important. And those are the agents that are going to continue to stay in the business. I mean, we've already seen how many exit because they just couldn't, because and that's exactly what real estate does. It ebbs and flows. That's the only way you're going to make it is if you continue to educate yourself and stay up on what's happening in the market and be able to take care of your clients knowing that information.
Which is, I love that. I mean, that's why we're optimistic. And I guess my point being is stay optimistic. That's what you have us for is we'll do this. We'll do the research. We'll do the studying. We'll do all the nerdy stuff when it comes to the real estate. So you don't have to.
And if you're thinking about selling and you're not really sure, give us a call, reach out, and we can go over the scenario and see when that timing is going to be best for you. If you are a buyer right now and you're not really sure if you want to buy now, if you want to buy later, just reach out. We can talk through it with you. You're never going to start too soon. You can always start too late. And like Jen had said, we have clients that have been on their searches for a year, 2 years, because they just want to get a feel for that area market. And whether that area market is Big Lake, or maybe it's Robbinsdale, or maybe it's White Bear Lake, or maybe it's Anoka, maybe it's Ramsey, we have so many amazing communities around us, and all of them have different markets. And we would love to sit and chat with you about your specific market so that you can get set for success the way that is going to work best for you.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I love it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that this was important information and you feel like you walked away feeling educated.
Yeah.
That's all we can hope for.
That's all we can hope for. Don't forget, stay grounded.
Stay grateful.
And keep building that legacy.
Bye.